Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Adam and I'm a fisherman from New Jersey. Today I'm taking you on a trip to the Sunset Beach Pier in Sunset Beach, North Carolina. It's located just north of the border of South Carolina and Myrtle Beach. I'm not a saltwater fisherman, but I'm going to try and show you a couple of different techniques that I use when I go pier fishing down here while I'm on vacation. So I hope you enjoy. The pier itself has a fantastic website at sunsetbeachpier.com, and they have a daily fishing report, even a live webcam of the pier. They tell you exactly what's biting, what times they're open, and if the grill is going, which is always a nice thing to have food while you're fishing. The daily fee to fish on the pier is $10, and then each additional rod would be another $5. So I paid $15 to bring out 2 rods with me. One I have set up with a high-low rig and Fish Bites, fake bloodworm on that, a couple of hooks on there, size 1, and right now I'm holding bottom with about 2 ounces of weight. The wind was pretty minimal and the surf wasn't really kicking up at this point. On my other rod I have a gotcha plug, which is one of the best pier fishing baits ever made apparently. I had never used one before this day, and I was going to give it a shot and see if it was any good. I heard so many good things about this bait, so wanted to give it a try. So as I'm casting out here, I'm going to rip this gotcha plug around, and I notice it's got a lot of good action. It moves around a lot when you pull on it with the rod tip. So I've got high confidence in actually catching something for a change. Lots of families frequent the pier, and it only costs $1 to walk around. And you see that bird that just flew by me. That was a little close for comfort, and we'll talk about those in a little bit too. The pier itself is about 900 feet long, and it's not that deep underneath of it. I would say it might be 9 feet at high tide, right at the end. And there's a king fishing area. Don't ask me what that is, because I have no idea. But it's a gated area that you're not allowed to fish in unless you pay a special fee. Right here I'm throwing that gotcha plug, and I'm really ripping it through this mid-column area, right where the breakers have kind of stopped in open ocean. In the past I'd done better on this north side of the pier rather than the south side. I don't know if that's because of a sandbar or the way the tide moves. Currently I'm at high outgoing tide, and I'm not really feeling much current down there when I move the plug. It's just moving along with my rod movement and darting around quite a bit. Being a freshwater bass fisherman, I know how to make fish react to injured looking bait, and that's what I'm trying to do here by ripping that bait upward. It's jumping up and moving side to side about maybe 2 to 3 feet each time I rip my rod. And ooh, there we go, got a bite. And I have no idea what I've hooked into, because again, this is the first time I've fished with this gotcha plug. I'm pretty excited to get a bite, and this was my second cast with it. And over the rail, and what do we got? I'm not familiar with saltwater fish whatsoever, and I've caught some pompano off this pier before, and this kind of looks like a pompano, but it has teeth, which made me think that it was something else. It kind of had like a tuna shape almost, and as I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't want to mess with him, so I'm going to take my pliers and take the hook out of him that way. Catching fish attracts a lot of attention on the pier, and you see the 2 little guys are super excited that I've caught something and brought it over the rail. I'm trying to get the hook out of this fish so that way I can get it either back in the water or hand it to somebody if they want to make a meal. On closer inspection, it looks like I caught a jack crevalle. These are a semi-tropical fish, and they're all over the ocean from Nova Scotia on down to Florida, even Africa. Pop the hook out, and these 2 little guys are really excited to see, so I bring it over to them and I asked, hey, do you want to hold it? I told him get a good grip on it, and the fish is kind of burping as he's holding it. Oh, there it goes, it flopped. Go grab it, buddy. Let's see how many scoops it takes him. Here's one. Oh, he's almost got it. Almost got it. Here comes his brother to help out. Check it out. Oh, what's going on? The other brother was a little dramatic and he said, "Oh, the fish hurt me. Oh, that hurts real bad." I don't know what got him. I don't think that there are any spikes on this fish. So their dad comes over, he's checking out the fish along with them. I'm like, "Hey, do you guys eat fish? Do you want this thing?" And he says, "Nah, I don't eat fish. I don't want that." No big deal. I don't eat fish either, so I'm going to send him on back to the ocean where he belongs. He'll probably be shark bait, to be honest. There are a bunch of black tips in the water around here, so I don't know if anything that I release actually survives or if it gets eaten fairly quickly after going back in the ocean. A side note, it's good to know the regulation sizes and things like that for anything that you're going to catch, and the pier actually has that information. If you catch something and you're not sure, you can always ask one of the employees at the pier whether or not it's something legal and you can keep it, or you can toss it back like these two guys helped me out with. Like, "Hey, thanks buddy, appreciate the help." No sooner do I get that fish released and back in the water, but watch my other rod. Ooh, getting a bite, getting a bite. The high-low rig I have on this rod is similar to bottom fishing for catfish, but I've got a couple of pieces of what looks like bubble gum, really. It kind of gets hydrated when you put it in the water and glows real bright red and has good scent and flavor and attracts the fish. You can also buy shrimp, squid, and bloodworms here at the pier, which they sell. I don't have anything live bait wise in my box or in my tackle. I mainly have lures and then the alternative stuff. I recommend Gulp, Fish Bites, and then there's some local lures that you can also buy. At the base of the Sunset Beach Bridge, there's a shop called Dave's. They're really knowledgeable. They have lots of tackle that if you can't get it at the pier, you can get it there. I'd mentioned these birds earlier in the video, and I don't know what kind of birds these are. I call them cackle birds because they sit there and all day cackle at you like caw, 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 caw. It's kind of annoying. They're always looking for some type of food or bait that they can steal. They're kind of like rats with wings, and you can see them like kind of surround me and this other family, trying to poach whatever we got. Little do they know that I don't have any food in my tackle box. If they want some metal or some hooks, I got that, but I don't have anything edible for them. They haven't taken any baits off my hook or any fish off my hook yet, but I wouldn't put it past them. Here I'm reeling in another one of these jacks. Looks like this gotcha plug is working pretty well. And I'll bring it over, and the bird doesn't really want anything to do with me. When they hit this bait, they hit it really, really hard. It seemed like they just want to destroy it, and they hit it and run really fast. These fish are kind of shaped like a tuna, like I said, with a big forked tail, which lets them generate a lot of speed as soon as they get their tail moving. Big rudder on them. Makes them a good fighting fish, a lot of fun to catch. I'm enjoying this so far. Gotcha plugs usually come with treble hooks on them, which can make it difficult to unhook a fish, especially a thrashing fish like one of these jacks or bluefish. They also sell them with a single hook on them, which would make it actually a little bit easier when you're catching these kind of violent fish, but you'll also miss a lot more, I feel like, with the single hook. With the trebles kind of snag onto everything, including the pier, so make sure that you're careful when reeling it all the way back up. I asked this family over here if they want another fish to eat and also what kind it is, because I still don't know if these are actually jacks or if they're pompano. I've never had a pompano eat a lure before, so I'm thinking that they might be jacks, but I don't know what kind. Here's that bird again. You'll notice I moved down the pier a little bit closer to the camera. I have this set up on one of the benches that they have along the pier, and then I'll have all my tackle set up at an adjacent one. In the high season, when there's a lot of fish around, It seems like every one of these benches is almost taken, and you got to find a spot in between or share. Got to get along with your pier buddies pretty well. But I'm casting out. I'm trying to kind of expand on my area a little bit and see if there are any fish around, either in the waves, in the breakers, or out deeper. Here I'm throwing right into the breakers, and oh, I got a fish right away as soon as it landed. I don't really feel it fighting, and I don't know what kind of fish this is. It's kind of silvery and long. Kind of looks like an eel a little bit. You see me peering over the side like, what the heck is this thing? I have no idea. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. And it's not even got the bait in its mouth. It's actually wrapped up in my fishing line. This thing has teeth, and it has its snout wrapped up in my fishing line. Otherwise, I don't think I would have caught this thing at all. I've only been out here for a little while now, and I've already got 3 fish over the rail. I had that other bite that you saw on my bigger rod, and I had actually a couple other bites that didn't get recorded on camera. So I'm having a pretty good day out here saltwater fishing, considering I have no idea what I'm doing. As I unwrap this fish, I'm realizing that this is the smelliest, nastiest fish in the entire ocean. The way that it smells makes me never want to eat anything out of the ocean ever again. It's that potent and nasty. Imagine a dumpster that's a week old. Ugh. Some of my saltwater expert buddies told me this is a houndfish. Yuck. Standing out on the pier, the weather changed a little bit out here, and it's actually kind of fun to watch the clouds move around over the ocean and then over the land that's behind you too. These birds are just all over the place. I can't believe how close they come, especially when I watch the video back. Surprised at how aggressive and unafraid they are. Tossing out some gulp on a jig head, seeing if I can get a different kind of bite now that the sun is out, and the gotcha plug kind of stopped working for me. Wasn't getting any more bites on it after that houndfish. Maybe it smelled too bad and they don't want to eat my bait anymore. A lot of people will try to throw their bait as far as they can away from the pier, but the big attraction for the fish in this area, I think, is the pier itself. So sometimes I like to put my bait down below, closer to the pilings. This is risky though, because you can get snagged up in the piling and actually not be able to get your bait back because you're hung on the pier below. There's all kinds of metal, other people's fishing lines, weights, other lures that you could get snagged on. So you gotta be careful and just be aware of what's happening below you with the ocean currents, the waves, the wind, and where your bait is. A gulp swimming mullet on a jig head is a pretty universal bait for saltwater. A lot of people recommend it, and I'm trying it out here for the first time on the pier just to see if anything will bite it. It's a bright chartreuse, bright green color, and I'm sure it's attracting attention anytime that it's going down there. It smells good, it's got lots of movement, lots of color, and I'm sure that whatever is down there, whether it's a bluefish or a croaker or even a redfish, is willing to eat, something that's tiny and easy to suck down. These folks walking up brought me some good luck, and it looks like I caught myself either a croaker or a spot on a gulp swimming mullet. They're not typically going to be eating baits and lures like this, but I expect them to be eating the fish bites instead. I'm not really getting anything on that rod today. Everything seems to be eating the lures instead, which I'm not going to complain about. But I got both rods out there just in case. You never know what will bite, so might as well give it a shot. Check out the water below me as I speed up this action here. It's pretty interesting to watch that water move. Speaking of moving, did you see my rod move? I think that I might have gotten a bite on that one rod that's leaning up against the bench. I've got it jammed in between the bench and the rail, so that way if I do get a bite, it's not going to go over, hopefully. And also, it'll kind of hook the fish on its own. I mean, it's not the best technique, but give it a shot and see if it'll work. It's better than not fishing at all. I pick it up and the line is slack, so there must be something on. Yep, rod's bent. Let's see what we caught. And it looks like it's a little whiting. Whiting are very, very populous fish at these piers. They like those fish bites. They like bloodworms. Anything that's kind of small that they can get their mouth around is what they eat. Again, I've got an audience here checking out the fish. I'm like, do you want it? He's like, yeah, I'll take it. And he grabs it, and yep, he dropped it just like the other one. That's what happens. And I'm thinking that he's going to go and bring it back to fry it up or take it back to his family. But no, he's picking up the fumble. He's trying to pick up the fumble. He's got it. Nope, he dropped it. He almost got it. Slippery fish. I'm like, what are you doing down there? I'm like, yep, you can have it. And he's tossing it back in the ocean. Alright, so much for that. I hope you enjoyed this quick trip to the Sunset Beach Pier. I know I did. If you like this, subscribe, keep an eye out for more videos, and thanks for watching.